evening all. Well, thank you so much to everybody for responding to my previous video, giving some fantastic advice and what they would do to sort out the rust that we found within the chassis. I'm approaching this optimistically. I'm going to really find out what we've got, have a good poke around, a good clean off. There are a lot of suggestions about changing vast parts of the chassis, or all of the chassis, which is fantastic. Not something I'm quite in a position to do right now, but if I need to, maybe that's what I do. It goes on the credit cards. I hope my wife's not going to watch this film. She won't. Don't worry. I'm safe. Or I could do some repairs. I've had some comments that I need to do some welding and learn how to weld. Noted. I've been trying my best with that, and I'm feeling quite capable of having a go at least. I have some really cool comments saying, I don't think you're going to find a better chassis and you might as well repair what you've got. Great, you're right. Although they still, well, they don't still make them. Somebody fabricates them, and you can get them either primed or even galvanized. So, and I did reach out to the chap that makes them, and he has some available within the next week. Brilliant. But they're expensive. And the last few comments were to replace entire chassis legs. And yes, I could maybe do that, but I worry then I'm going to lose the geometry, and I am in a crappy old shed, and I don't have a jig, and I don't have a rollover, and I'm not going to buy a rollover or a jig. I'm going to use what I've got. This is me being a hobbyist having a go. So I think the best thing and a lot of people have said you can repair it. I'm not worried about that. You can put a plate on, and plates are fine. And we had a big debate about whether I should plate or not. But right now, I think my best option is to see really what we've got, what I'm dealing with. So I'm going to take off the torsion bar. Well, I'll turn the camera around and then I can talk through things. We have some helpers today. They've they're quite small. Yes, you're quite small and you're quite small. So what I might do is strap an angle grinder to both of their heads, and then I could like throw a ball like this under, like that, and then with the angle grinder strapped to the dog's head, it could maybe take some of the worst of the rust off for me. And they don't mind. You don't, Phoebe, you don't mind angle grinders. Jet, do you mind? See how I like angle grinders. Sorry, losing my mind. So we got to this point here. I took the floor out, which I still think was the right thing to do. Now, the other thing, people think, oh, you've got to get underneath and it's going to be really hard. Well, right now, I can get to everything. You know, I've got good light. I've got access. I can clamp all under the chassis if I need to. So, you know, this is pretty good. This is all right. The back here, I really am not worried about, because that big wooden box me and my dad made, it's held on with 4 bolts. You can see a couple at the back there. 2 there and 2 into the chassis here. So I can take the whole back off, probably in about 15 minutes, and fully assess this part of the chassis too. And even down here, this is the bonnet that's shoved in there just to keep it out of the way. Even down here where I found some additional holes, you know, once this box is out of the way, I can get to all of this. So I think my approach for today is, and I only have an hour, is to take off the torsion bar. You can see it runs through there, and the lower arm. It's a few bolts, and then set to it with some wire brushes and see exactly what we've got just on this length here. If this length, especially underneath, is salvageable, I'm going to repair that section, and then I'm going to put the floor back in. The reason being, this floor ties up all the cab and the doors and all this kinds of stuff. So I want that floor back in. I want to get this cab section strong again. And I know that then that section's done and I don't need to go back to it. This part at the back here, I can do all at the same time. Or I get underneath there proper. I mean, look how much rust has come out. Or I get underneath there and have a proper go at it, and everything disintegrates, and this is the end of the series, because I'll just torch it. I'll torch it and scrap it. Even the dogs have given up on me. So I'm going to set things up. I'm going to start this. I don't know how much I'm going to film with the torsion bar. It's really simple to take out. it's a bolt there. That's that bolt there. Anyway, you unbolt that, and then it's got like a spline here. As long as I don't move any of this and I put it back in the same place, it should be absolutely fine. So actually what I'm going to do is take some photographs now. So take that out and then get down and dirty. Well, that went well. All the nuts and bolts came out very easily. I'm going to say the one for the wishbone, too easy. Like stupidly easy. As in, quarter turn, did it by my fingers after that. But that's okay, I guess. Rest came out fine. So, a bit of a Yankee outy time. And then we can make a start seeing where we are with the rust. Okay, so bolt came out from here. Bit of persuasion with some delicate precision tools. And it's sliding out nicely. We can do some live destruction. I don't know. I can't really hold it and do this. I don't know how I'm going to film this. I'm going to put this here. You are probably going to see nothing. Might see it. I don't know. Don't know. Camera work. Camera work. Let's see what we get. Am I gonna? Mechanical leverage. Never underestimate it. I mean, I don't know what you can see. I'm really sorry. You can probably see nothing. There's no rust here. That's good. That's good. All this is paint coming off from where I think I had a leak from the hydraulic clutch reservoir. God, this is... What have I become? What have we all become listening to me babble on about bloody clutch reservoirs? Right. How can I do this? Oh, that's how you do it. I'm trying to be careful of the threads, you see. Now I think what you're meant to do is tap it this way, tap the arm out of the way and release the torsion bar, but I don't really want to do that. The reason being, this is set up well, and once I've ripped it all out, if I was to do that, then I'd lose the ride height, and that's a problem, because I'd probably not be able to get it right again. This should... Maybe if I pull the... I'm going to pull the other end away a bit. Oh yeah. So what we've got, there's the arm at the other end for adjustment is tight. It's moving, but it hasn't moved in decades. So once I've pulled the other end of the torsion bar over, it'll come out straight, and I won't be putting any more pressure on this bolt, because it's not delicate, but I don't want to mangle it. And of course there's a bolt at the other end as well. Well, I'm going to put my thinking cap on and approach this differently. I approached it differently by just tugging it a bit, rather than using crowbars. I mean, I suppose, is tugging less brutal than tow bars? I'm going to say yes, it is. So I pulled it and it popped out. And here we have one torsion bar from a Morris Minor. That this has never been off the car in my lifetime. It's always been in. So behold. So should we have a quick look? Where did I put that? So I've never seen behind here. I've already poked around here because when I did all this welding. I think we all agree that that's a drain hole. That's a drain hole, people. Surface there, but we all agree, as in Graham Sargood and I am talking to myself, agree that this is probably all right. This front leg here is probably okay. All the leaky oil from the engine that it never fixed, is saved it. So my focus is where I can see the holes. So rather than me get under there straight away, I'm going to get a wire brush on my drill and I'm going to sand all this bit. I keep saying that. Wire brush it all back. And then I'm going to get on my back, crawl underneath and see what we've got. Before I do any of that, thank you for reminding me, I'm going to put these nuts and bolts back on where they belong. So, and that's on the other side end of the torsion bar, so I don't lose them. Right, time for some of the world's worst camera work again. Laying on my back. Just imagine that. We don't need to. You're watching it. Right. So I've got under here quite a lot. So if you can imagine from before, you're now looking up inside the cab of the car because there's no floor pan. You shouldn't really be able to take this view. This is a very rare view, I'd imagine, for a Morris Minor. One for the photo album. So here is the... So I have to be careful, I don't want the camera to switch orientation. So there's the front of the hanger, and there is the chassis leg. Now if you can imagine here, well, you don't need to imagine again, you can see that's the back of the cab with the wooden box. So I'm not overly interested in anything from here backwards, because I can take that box off and I got pretty much full access to that chassis and I don't need to lay on my back. So I am interested in from, this is ridiculous, the footwell, which there you go, there's the footwell. This is great, isn't it? 3D. To here. Because this is the bit that's going to be awkward. And this is also, interestingly, but not interesting to anybody, the lowest part of the chassis. So I think all this rust that we've been finding is just water congregating at the bottom of the chassis. It's been getting in from wherever. And from the last... So one thing I need to say is that I haven't got enough time to take off this wiring, and is it a fuel line, or it could be the brake line? Brake line it is. Simply because I've got to sort the kids out and do family stuff. So my next video will be stripping this out and having a go on this inside part of the leg. But I have done the underside, and it's quite interesting for me. So this plate here has got a weld, but then it's bent. Oh, you can't see it. I'm so sorry. I really can't. It's a bit of a squeeze. So weld through here, and then bent up to about, I don't know, half an inch. Oh, you can't see. There you go. And then welded through there. And I'd say, and there was a few comments where people were concerned about the walls and what am I welding to. You know, I know this isn't, that's the old weld, so I'm going to cut that part out. But I think if we come up, the walls are okay. So I'm leaning towards cutting this old patch out basically, and putting a new one in. I'm going a bit higher probably because to get on some better metal above. Likewise with here. Now I need to do a bit of research as to what this. Oh, you can't see. I'm so sorry. What this part here in the middle is. Whether this is part of the chassis. Well, it is obviously. What am I looking at? There you go. This here. So you've got the connecting section. Doesn't quite line up, but it comes through. So this is the back of the torsion bar. That's where it mounts onto. So it's suspension. It's a suspension point really. So do I need to get in here and sort this out a bit more? You know, there's a bit of rust in there. I'll probably take that whole patch out. Likewise, there's a and then we've got this hole here, and then we had that other hole. Oh, I have to move around a bit. I don't know what you can see because that's right underneath me. So there's another hole here, and there's a load of rust sitting in there. But again, I can get my hand in there. The walls feel pretty solid. Now I have got somewhere, here it is, the screwdriver of truth. What you can hit, that crusty sound is rust on the inside bouncing. But my initial thoughts are there is a lot of good metal here and areas of bad metal. Oh, so old man noises. Oh my god. Oh. So I've ground off around here, so you can see where that weld is. I think that's a pretty decent weld. It hasn't been ground down by the looks of it. It's just an honest weld that runs through there. You can see this will need plating up the side here. So, and so will this here. And so from that hole there to that hole there, that's where that little patch is that was right underneath, above me. So that's where one of the cuts is. That's where one of the other cuts is. And that's where the third cut is. So I think I basically need to redo what rusted the first time. But again, I know it's thin and rusty up here, but we can bring this up. So I think we're going to be a few plates here and there. And then I've also, I mean, you can see what I mean about access. I can just do this bit here. I thought I could see there was a hole here. I've just quickly gone into there. And yeah, there's a few thick plates around here. I think this will need taking back a little bit. Oh, my camera works so terrible. I'm so sorry. But again, a repair. For this side, I'm not going to even attempt the other side at the moment. So, next video, strip out brake lining. I've damaged it anyway whilst taking the engine out, so it will need new brake. It needs new brake lines anyway. They're very old. Take out the loom. Probably going to get a new loom as well because it's a little bit butchered. So it'd be nice to get it all back to original and butcher it again, I guess. And then have a good look down this side of the other side of the chassis lid, which I can do, look, by stepping into the car and sitting on there and be very comfortable, be cozy. Once that's all repaired, I can attempt to put the new floor pan in, weld that into place, bolt it down, know that I don't really need to come into this area again, finish off the cab that I started on this side, and then do the same thing on the other side. And I probably would do it the same way. I think it's all right. I think it's going to work. And I'm not going to get a new chassis unless I find a total horror. I just can't afford it. And I don't want to, because I don't have to take everything off. And I don't think it's dangerous. I do think it'll be not as good as original, but it'll be perfectly okay. And I think that's what I'm going to have to do. But I'm going to have, when I put this floor back in, probably then, just because I want to make the cab strong, I will probably start on the chassis on the other side first, just to make sure I'm not wasting my time. But we'll see. So that's it. I really appreciate all the help. In the last video, actually I'll switch the camera off. In the last video, there's lots of comments about chassis and can you get chassis, this, that and the other. Yes, you can. I've edited the link in there just for people's curiosity. If they want to see a new chassis, there's a website in there for you to look at. Really appreciate the help. I'm sure some people are going to think that I'm not doing it right and others think it's fine. And do you know what? Please let me know. If you think I'm doing it wrong, shout. Just let me know. And thanks for all the support. I really appreciate all the help. And it's half the reason I keep on going now, to be honest with you, because I'm enjoying it. And if people are enjoying it, win-win, I guess. I'm looking at myself. I'm starting to look like the wild man of Essex. I think I need to sort myself out a little bit, or carry on. See how bad it gets. Anyway, thanks a lot. That's my video.